do you know this beautiful location?
Well, Loch Lomond, I remember this from being a child, and I grew up in England from the age of 12, but came back here and got married in Loch Lomond to a Scotsman. So it holds a special place in my heart for many reasons, as well as childhood memories.
Can you tell me how you first got interested in like live shows and performance? You know, what attracted you to that?
I studied three-dimensional design at university and specialised in set design and lighting design, and obviously that's all based around shows.
Yeah. And
I think one of the first shows I ever went to in London was with one of my brothers when I was a student, was Les Miserables. And I just loved all the set changes and the music, and I just thought it was really dynamic and exciting, and I thought, oh, well, that's how I ended up getting into it, really.
And how did your professional career develop? I take it you finished your degree?
Finished my degree in Birmingham, and huge overdraft obviously, wanted to go travelling again. And my dad said, you're on your own now. So I thought I'd better pay my overdraft off first. And it just so happened, I wasn't really thinking I was going to work at that point. I was thinking just travelling. And so, but as it happened, the biggest lighting company in the world, I think at the time, Light and Sound Design, was based in Birmingham. And they were looking for someone to sell light bulbs. And I went along and I got the job, and they gave me a car. And I went and sold light bulbs literally around the UK for, I think, 2 months, maybe 3 months. And then one of the directors, Simon Austin, came to me one day and said, oh, this is too boring for you, come and work in rock and roll. And I ended up on the touring side. And that's where it started. Thanks to Simon saying, just come and do it, it'll be a laugh. One of the things he told me to do, and one of the reasons why he wanted me to come and work in the rock and roll side, and it wasn't obviously selling light bulbs per se then, he was like, look at these wonderful gold discs and everything I have, get something like that, get the band, work with the band that everyone wants to work with. So I brought him back an 11 times platinum Oasis one.
That showed him.
Yeah.
That brings us interestingly to Oasis, because they were one of the first major productions that you worked on back in the mid-90s. Just tell me about how that started and how it grew.
Simon had told me I had to work with young bands and bring young bands into the fold, so that I was like, okay. By chance, someone had invited me to an Oasis gig, which was at the Boardwalk in London. And so they were really small then. They had released Definitely Maybe, and I just got to know that gang and I kind of fitted in. And a year later they were playing Ballock Country House, which is just across there, funny enough, to I think probably 100,000 people. I'm not sure how many was there, I can't remember now.
But it was big.
But it went from this tiny little band to massive. So,
and you were sorting out all their lighting production for their touring?
I sorted all their lighting production and worked closely with them on set elements as well, and all their crew, their lighting crew, to deliver what was needed for a variety of size shows, because at that time they were doing small shows and big shows at the same time. So it was a pretty crazy time, but I was 24 years old, it was brilliant fun.
Fantastic.
I literally never went to the office, I was just with them guys hanging out, it was good.
Can you tell me about LarMac Live, which is your own company with Ian Greenway? When did you start it, and sort of who else is involved, and how did it grow?
Ian and I met just freelancing together. Ian, I had got him to come and do a few jobs with me, and we just got on really well. And then we ended up in the Middle East doing an awards show. And then we just decided, we thought, well, why don't we set up a company and we can employ people that do it like we do it, or do it how we want it done. Especially, I'm talking about one-off shows rather than touring. And that's how it evolved, and the name is, Ian's nickname is Lar, L-A-R, because he's a Scouser, and my nickname's Macka, and so LarMac, that's how the name was made.
Yeah, absolutely. You're actually known for your creative approach to productions, aren't you, at LarMac Live? Can you tell me a bit about that? Does that go back to your roots of design roots at university?
Very much so. I mean, for me, I love when a designer comes up with something and everyone's like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? How are we going to tour it? Or how are we going to put it in the time we have? But I like to try and find the solution for the creative side with a technical knowledge as well, so that the designer's happy, but also the production is still possible. But for me, the creative side is what gives the best shows.
You've worked a lot in the Middle East, haven't you?
Yeah.
What do you particularly enjoy about working out there?
I've worked a lot in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and and Sharjah, so the United Arab Emirates. What I love working out there is it's nice and sunny, so it's warm every day, and I love the heat. But I like the challenges out there. I like that they have the vision to do something. They always want to do, oh, it's never been done before. So yes, they might have a bigger budget, but no budget is ever really the budget to fulfill everything you want to do. And so it's been a really interesting, it's allowed me to explore creatively, technically, creative and technically, what can be done, and allowed me to work with some amazing international people and produce some lovely shows out there.
What do you most love about your work?
I love the buzz, that live show, that adrenaline rush, that terrification before it starts, and being slightly scared all the way through the show and not enjoying it the same way as the paying person that comes to see the show is enjoying it. But the adrenaline you get once the show's over and it's all gone well is just, it's brilliant. And as well, you know, even tough shows that maybe you've not enjoyed doing for whatever reason, there's always light at the end of your tunnel, because once your show's done, that's it. You move on, it's then a piece of history, you move on to the next one. So it's quite refreshing that way, it keeps you alive.
Looking back over your career, which has been really dynamic and successful and had lots of different diverse events and so on, are there any highlights that stand out?
There's probably three. Obviously Oasis, because it was the band of my era, and what great fun that was. It was crazy, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And especially coming to Loch Lomond to do that show, so that was brilliant. I like crazy. And then doing the Queen's 90th birthday, which was the Patrons' Lunch, which was a huge parade of all her charities on the mall, and that was pretty amazing because it was such bad weather during the rehearsal in the morning. And then the minute the Queen stepped out of Buckingham Palace, the sun came out like this. And it was the most amazing thing, and it was really nice doing something that was broadcast to the whole country and very much the world. And I met the Queen, so that's a big thing.
Wow, what did you say to her?
I can't remember, I was so nervous.
Not many people can say they've met the Queen, so that's pretty cool.
I went and had canapes with her and Prince Philip and a group of people that were working on our 90th birthday. That was pretty amazing in Buckingham Palace.
That was in the palace?
Yeah, that was good fun. And then ultimately the show that's blown my mind was National Day in Abu Dhabi last year with S. Devlin. She created a cube. And she said, it'll be fine, it's a cube. You know what my cubes do. But then she put it in the middle of the sea. So it created a really big challenge, along with COVID and along with having 12 weeks to deliver it. But it was truly spectacular and looked beautiful. I think for me, it's been really the most beautiful thing I've ever worked on. And so very satisfying, and it was really good to be able to work last year in the pandemic.
What are your hopes for the rest of 2021?
Well, I really hope that COVID goes away. I know it's not going to go away, but I really hope we can start doing some music shows as well as one-off shows, and we start building towards a bit more of a normality. And there's been a lot of people affected in all industries, our industry as well, but it would be really nice to see live music again. There's definitely the appetite for it, so I've got everything crossed we're heading in the right direction.